morning and welcome to It's Happening Here with Lois and Diane. I'm Lois Taylor.
And I'm Diane Austin. And today we have the great pleasure of being at Fettis Travel with owner Ann Otterbein.
Good, welcome this morning. Good to see you come into my office in person. Because you know what? You know, for the last 2 years we've been doing so much work over the phone, by internet, email, and it's so nice to have that human contact. Face to face, finally.
Yes.
Yes, it's been a long time, but you know what? We're getting through it. 22 months and coming up almost 2 years. March the 13th, Friday the 13th. I remember that date well. When the hammer came down and the world seemed to come to a stop. But here we are, almost 2 years later, and people are moving.
Yes,
people are traveling.
You've been very busy too.
I've been very busy for the last couple of months since the snow's been falling and these cold temperatures. People are getting out and they're starting to move, which is wonderful to see. We're finally getting there. There's hope. There is hope.
That's great.
Yes.
I think it's important that we all need that bit of a respite. And because we didn't have it, there was a lot of things going on with people. You're right, they absolutely need to get out there and have a trip somewhere.
Exactly. Absolutely. They're planning to get, they're planning, and they're starting to move. So, including yourself.
I know, I'm so excited. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that we can actually get away because we had booked this 2 years ago.
Yeah, so Diane, and you've had this trip planned for 2 years now to go to Portugal.
Yes.
At the end of March. Yeah. And you're following through with it, which is wonderful to see. You're going to have such a good time.
I hope so.
Such a good time.
We actually have such a good outlook on this. We extended it 2 days.
Yes, exactly. So you're going to have a bit of a cultural experience in Lisbon. You're going to see some history, some dining experiences, see the cafes. Then you're going to head down to the south and you're going to drive. You're confident that you're going to be able to drive? Or Sid is going to do the driving.
Yes, and this was all done through you.
Yes.
We just basically said to her, this is what we want to do. We want to stay at a place, we want to rent a car, and there's excursions we want to go on, and you did it all.
Yeah, and
right
so you're
down to the flight.
Staying in a nice 2-bedroom apartment.
Yes, we
overlooking the sea.
Yes, we are.
In Portugal. And then you're going to finish back up and fly back out of Lisbon. So it's going to be a real good trip.
Yes, definitely are.
Well, good morning. Thank you. We're glad that you're here.
So enough about Diane.
Yes.
How long have you been here for?
I have been here, which seems like forever, but not really. Actually, I've been in the business since 1989. I went to college for travel and tourism. Of course, went off to Australia, did the working holiday visa for 6 months in Australia. Came back to Toronto with $9 in my pocket and called my mom in Owen Sound, and she came and got me. Came back to Owen Sound, and here I am. I started work for Fettis Deluxe Travel back in '89, and then in 2010, I took the opportunity to purchase the business, and so I've owned the business now for 12 years, going on 13 now.
It's been that long.
It's been that long. Wow. So I like to say I started when I was 12.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, you did.
I did.
Right?
I started when I was 12.
And I remember being at the Business Women of the Year Awards, and you won.
I did. That was an honor. I think that was 2 years ago that I was given that reward.
Congratulations.
Yes. I really appreciate that reward.
Oh, well, it was very well deserved.
Thank you.
I think there's so many great entrepreneurial women in Owen Sound, and they don't get the recognition. So I loved that whole women in business format, and hopefully that comes back as well.
True. And you know what? I purchased, like I said, I purchased business in 2010, and I have no regrets. So it was the best decision I made for me. I love being an owner. It's a good feeling.
Well, it's so great you've been here all these years, because I have a friend that tried to book her flights online, and with COVID and et cetera, has been canceled numerous times. She's had to go on the phone and spend like 6-7 hours on hold. So to have you here, you could do that for me, right?
That is my job as a travel agent. That's my job. My job is to make your life easier with the travel planning process. And that burden becomes my burden, and that's my job.
Right.
And
so
I'm pleased to do that.
Aww.
Yes. So you said you're looking at going on a trip to Texas,
Austin,
right?
Texas.
Or
yes.
you want to visit your daughter, right?
Yes, my daughter lives in Austin.
Wonderful. Have you seen her in the last 2 years?
She's come home Like twice last year.
Wow.
But we
wonderful.
also have a friend in Cancun, so it would be like a multi-city, like from
you want to
Toronto.
do what we call that a circle trip.
Okay.
So you want to fly Toronto to Austin, Austin to Cancun, back to Toronto, right?
Yes.
And you know what? That's going to work out. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go to Austin. Air Canada is going to be your only option. They go direct nonstop once a day into Austin, so that will be your natural choice. From there to Cancun, you're likely going to have to go with Aeromexico into Cancun.
That sounds iffy.
Or United Airlines. I'm not sure, but that's my job, and as I would research who flies between those 2 points.
Okay.
We know,
And we could also like go from Dallas to Austin, from Austin to Dallas.
correct, and we may look at doing that.
Right.
And then from Cancun back to Toronto, then you've got Air Canada, you got Transat, you got Sunwing, you got WestJet to pick from. So we would look at which one of those is the lesser expensive. We try to use the same airline all the way through as much as possible because it reduces your price better. So if we can use Air Canada all the way through, we would recommend you do that.
Okay.
But Air Canada is not going to fly from Texas to Mexico. Okay, so that would be a little segment in there that we'd have to sort of figure out, and that's my job, and I would do that for you.
Awesome.
And figure out what the most economical and most time efficient way to do this trip for you.
Right.
So you're not wasting time sitting in airports making connections.
Yes, there's so many like flights that have been I've just noticed when you go to look at flights, they're what used to be, bang, 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 3 flights a day is down to 1.
That's correct, and that's since COVID. That's right, because there just hasn't been the volume people are traveling, so they don't have the number of flights traveling to those destinations right now. So on that subject, when travel opens up, it's going to be busy and it's going to be difficult to find availability because they've reduced the number of flights into certain destinations. That's going to be a problem. But hopefully by next year, this time, we'll be out of this and the availability will be there. It won't be so crucial.
Yeah.
But
cruise ships, way back when, people were on them for a long time because of being quarantined. Are they people coming back and actually booking cruise vacation?
very slowly. Okay. I'll have to admit, I have not had anybody go on a cruise, like follow through with a cruise to this point. I have one client going out in March, and that'll be my first client that's actually going to go on a cruise since COVID started. I had lots of people book but cancel because they're not going to. The other thing is that the Canadian government has the level 4 advisory to avoid all cruises.
Right.
So that is a concern. Whereas other types of travel, the Canadian government has a level 3 advisory right now, which is avoid non-essential travel outside of Canada, but the level 4 on cruising to avoid all cruises.
Okay.
I can understand
I'm
that.
waiting for that to be lifted before I'd really strongly encourage anybody to consider a cruise right away. But if you're looking for a cruise for 2023, you need to get it booked. If you want to do a river cruise
That's
for
what I was gonna
2023,
mention.
you need to get that booked now this year for 2023 because it is a hot
And
ticket
they're
item.
smaller boats, right?
They are. You
So-
only have 180 passengers on the ship, so you've got a really small group of people. So which is nice versus 3,000 or 4,000 on an ocean
And they can go in the
cruise.
smaller ports, so you're not
Yes.
going to be crammed in.
That's
like
right.
I've been to some of those places where when the tourists come off those boats, it's crazy.
Crazy, yeah. So
Yeah.
they're nice small groups. You get to know everybody on the ship. You get to know the staff. And with river cruising, all your excursions are included when you come to a port. Your
Oh.
excursion is included in the price, so you're not shelling out money for excursions. It's
What
already
about
included in the price.
a drink package? Is that included in most of those?
In most route cruises, river cruises, wine and beer is included at mealtime, at lunch and dinner. Okay, and then you do need to purchase your alcohol outside those times.
Oh, and this is so exciting that things are opening up and we're starting to travel again, and it's kind of normal, right?
Yeah.
But
But still you still have to be cautious a little bit, okay? Make sure if you're purchasing a vacation package that you add, all the tour companies are offering some sort of cancellation waiver, and I really strongly encourage people to consider adding that waiver on. It may be a waiver that gives you a full refund right up to 24 hours before departure, like Transat Holidays does. Or it may be a credit for future travel that you can cancel right up to shortly before the trip. If you have to cancel for any reason, at least you'd have a credit for future travel and plan again for next year. That's so important right now because we all think nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to happen. Yeah. But you know what? You just don't know what's going to happen. And next thing you know, and it can be any reason. It doesn't even have to be a COVID reason. It could be just because there's a sudden illness in the family or death in the family that prevents you from going.
So do you sell that insurance
absolutely,
as well?
Absolutely. Okay. And the other thing I want to draw your attention to is out-of-country emergency medical insurance. And we're going to talk about this for you, Diane, for your trip to Portugal for COVID, okay? Because there are out-of-country emergency medical coverages out there. A lot of people have it through their employer, or through their benefits, or through their credit card company, yada, 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 which is fine. But does it cover if you get COVID in your destination? Yeah. Okay, because we all think we're triple vaxxed. Maybe we even have had COVID. So now we think we're Teflon against COVID. But are we really? I don't know. So in your destination, so we have out-of-country emergency medical insurance through Transat Insurance, which is specific for COVID. So we'll cover any emergency medical experience that you have in your destination, as well if you get COVID in your destination and have to be hospitalized for it or treated for it or put on one of those breathing machines because you've got COVID, it will cover those expenses. Which could
and
be
what
a lot.
about
And
if
that's
you're
$5
over
million
there
coverage.
and you get COVID and you have to isolate there?
Yes. So this same insurance plan that we can offers if you because as we know, in your destination before coming back to Canada, you have to get tested with a PCR test 3 days before your flight back to Canada. If you test positive in your destination, right now, today the rules are you have to wait a minimum 11 days before you can get on an airplane, okay, to get back into Canada. So this insurance policy will allow you to cover expenses to quarantine or isolate at your destination to a maximum of 14 days. It covers $200 per person per day towards meals and accommodation, plus up to $500 per person towards the expenses of changing your flight to get back to Canada or towards a one-way ticket back to Canada. And it is based on age, your medical condition, but it is well worth the money. It's not expensive in comparison to what the benefits you're getting. So please consider that when you're going anywhere outside of Canada.
Okay,
Yeah.
that would ease my mind as well. Because you worry the whole time you're gone.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're testing positive, and that's one of the concerns that our group is having right now.
Yes.
What if we are positive and we have to find a place to stay or even to cover the cost?
Right.
Because it could range in any way from about $10,000, can it not, depending on how much the motel is?
Right, exactly. And so that's the other thing. Just remember, I'm here, Diane.
Yes,
okay?
I know. Yeah.
No, I'm not here 24/7, but I am on Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and I do have an answering machine that I check regularly. So I'm here to help. So if you're in your destination and you're struggling, call me, okay? And if I'm not here, I will give you a number to call you back at, and I will help you in your destination. I will help you make that flight arrangements to get back to Canada. I'll help make wherever I can help you. That's what I'm here for. That's my job. Okay?
And if anyone, go ahead, Lois.
Oh, no, I was just going to say this has been so informative. Thank you so much for having us here.
Well, you're welcome. It's been a pleasure to chat with you.
Yes, I've learned a lot today, and I'm going to stay a little later and get some flight times and prices too. So we'll do that after.
A phone number?
519-371-3281. Now, for in-person visits, I do require appointments to call ahead of time. Make sure that I'm here, and I'm glad to meet with you. And of course, the telephone and email is wonderful too.
And you have a new person, Rachel?
I do. My newest staff member, Rachel. I'm thrilled to have Rachel on board. So we'll look forward to working with her over the coming days. Yeah.
That's
awesome. You were working alone, which was for a little while there too. You were working alone.
I have always worked from the office.
Yeah.
I never took time off for the last 3 months. I came in and I checked the phones and checked the emails, monitored people's calls. People would call with questions.
Yeah.
Not necessarily booking, just asking, is it safe to travel? When can I go? What do I need when I travel? And I'm here to give them those answers.
Do you have a website that they can?
I do.
Okay.
Our website is travelplus.ca/1174.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Anne. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for coming to see me.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
My name is Matthew Rutledge. I'm a 60 scoop survivor, born in Red Lake. Was adopted from there to Toronto at the age of 4. A lot of our brothers and sisters, family members got separated from each other. That was the government's goal, to break that connection from brothers and sisters. Basically taking the Indian out of the child. Right now, they're still trying to find themselves. Originally, my birth name is Harvey Halverson. In my high school days, teens, I was trying to fit into society. I knew I was First Nations, but I didn't know who I was inside. I think later in life, I started that journey. I am proud, and it's not my man, who I am now. I love life, who I am.
Hi, I'm Thomas Shade, a right wing with the Owens Attack. Go behind the scenes with your favorite team on Attack Rap every Tuesday on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to It's Happening Here with Lois and Diane.
We're here at Georgian Bay Woodworking with Shane Wiley. Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, it's a beautiful spot.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
And we're neighbors. We're just sort of kitty corner.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Just down the road here?
I'm DC Taylor's.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Great to meet you.
Yeah, I'm going to tell everybody about this spot.
Awesome,
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking at all this wood that you've done there. That are actually from tree trunks.
Yeah,
And the
absolutely. These are
shape
called
of
cookies.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, this is sugar maple over here. This is silver maple over here. We're actually going to use these for educational purposes in a new business we're opening up.
Educational purposes.
So we're going to
okay,
have
we'll talk
these
about that.
as a tutorial.
Nice, nice.
And what is this piece here?
So this is an LED backlit riddling rack, which is also a wine rack. So you would put wine racks inside of all of these holes, and then when it's lit up with this plug right here, you can change the color and the dynamics.
So
to
does it
with
go
the
on the
foam.
wall?
Absolutely, it does. Yeah.
Okay, so you just don't stick the neck of the bottle there.
You do. You stick the neck of the bottle
Oh, I
just down
see.
like that, and it just all of these. I think there's 16 per side, and it looks absolutely fantastic because you take the cap off the top, or you don't put the cork in, so the light actually shines out the bottle. It looks really, really cool. On our Instagram, you can see videos of it playing. It's really, really neat.
I'm going to have to look for that.
That's a great idea.
It is a great idea. Well, what kind of
Can you show us around?
Absolutely. Like, what did you guys want to see? I mean, we've got some great art on the walls, some rustic furniture here. Charcuterie boards, live edge slabs, all pretty much local. There is a few like these cleaned ones here you see that we do get from suppliers, which I can't guarantee where they're from, but I'll tell you that it's not economic to ship this wood too far, right? So
Right.
it's definitely local. Some walnut, some cherry, there's some ash. We have some walnut tables here that we've made for a local company up in Wyerton called Metal and Edge Pipeworks, great people. This is also a bench and a cross member for underneath, like you see this black one right here.
Yeah.
So that'll be the exact same idea, except it's going to be made out of walnut. So this is a nice pairing for them. More local walnut, some local barn board from Allenford, I believe it is.
I have a question for you.
Absolutely.
Just back here
might have
where
an
you've
answer.
got the pebbles and the epoxy.
Yes, yes.
Now, do you mix the epoxy to give it the colors that they have, whether it's thick or thin?
So epoxy comes clear, and
It is
we added
clear?
a colorant to it. In that
Okay.
case, it was like what you would call pen ink style, and it was
Okay.
just like an ocean blue we added to it to give it that ocean color. It's called a river table.
Okay, and the cut in the wood is natural? You didn't make it that way? You
Right, so
filled it?
that's one slab. So as you see, a slab would normally have two sides, that live edge.
Yes.
We cut it down the middle and we turn them inside out. So that's them facing each other. It's called a river table, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And there's polished river stones inside of it as well as Florida beach sand.
Okay, now the one beside it, it is actually really thick, that you can't, it's not transparent.
No,
Or
that's because it has a mica pigment inside of it, which is very similar to the eyeshadow you wear.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering about the artwork, actually, that
Oh,
you have
absolutely.
on the wall.
So the artwork is a gentleman from Collingwood. His name's Derek McLeod, and he's famous himself. He's actually sold a few pieces to DJ Jazzy Jeff. He's incredibly talented. All of this is all oil acrylic, and it's hand done. It's DMC Galleries, if anybody is interested, but it's absolutely fantastic.
It's beautiful.
I reached out online to just a collection of people to say I'm looking for some artwork for my store, and he sent me a couple pieces, and I was blown away.
Yeah, I love this giraffe.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant. I mean, everything on here is pop culture related, so it kind of speaks to our generation.
What is the concept of your store here?
So we're a woodworker. We're true to the form. We make anything that can be made from wood. But we specialize in high-end furniture, epoxy furniture, river tables, and things like that, which we mentioned over there earlier. Things kind of like what you see right here. So that's what we call a charcuterie board. So you wouldn't want to cut on it because it has epoxy on it. However, you could because it is safe to eat on.
Well, you can cut on this side.
You can cut on both sides. However, this would just leave a mark.
Oh, I see.
Remember back in the day, your parents used to have plastic or wax cutting boards?
Yes.
And they would leave those white lines on it? The same thing would happen to this.
Oh, I see.
It is an inert plastic, so it won't harm you, but at the same time, it discolors what you've paid for, and you don't want to do that.
Gotcha.
So what we do with these is actually, we're going to be teaching people how to make these in a new business we're opening called Georgian Bay Diy Designs. It's just over there. What we're going to do is we're going to have a 4-day course. It's actually 3 days, but the 4th day is not guaranteed. It's just if somebody doesn't finish in the 3 days given, we'll have the 4th day to catch up. But what it is we teach them how to make this. They take the raw product, as you would see over here on the wall. They cut it, they sand it, they do everything to it if they're comfortable. If they're not comfortable, somebody will do it for them. But that means they get the knowledge and skill to make this at home by themselves in their own time, rather than having to spend $200-300 on something like this at a store. So it's practical, and it's good for the time that people have at home right now.
Oh, for sure. We'll definitely use it, right? It's something that's...
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So tell us
those are
where
cool.
over there is.
Over there is actually the old Sale restaurant.
On Second Avenue.
1023 2nd Avenue East. It's just across the street, actually.
Nice, nice. And how long are the sessions?
So they'll be 3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
3 to 4 times a week. Like I said, the 4th day is just if you don't make it in the 3rd day, or if you have an emergency and you're unable to make it.
Okay.
Okay, so after I make my charcuterie board, is there an opportunity to go in and use your facility after?
Absolutely, absolutely. So this facility here is private. This is our facility. We don't allow other people to use it, just because here the tools are a little more dangerous for the general customer to use. Like if you're not comfortable with tools, over there is going to be outfitted with contractor tools. So they're a little more safe to use. They're a little smaller. They don't run as fast. I like to say that if you cut yourself here, you could lose an arm, but if you cut yourself there, you might lose a finger. So it's a little safer.
So if Lois and I wanted to go and build a wine rack for our husbands,
Yep.
Would there be someone there that could give us
Absolutely.
direction?
So there's a gentleman in the back we might pass by on our way in that he's going to be over there full time. So he's going to do the teaching after I do a couple dry runs with him. He's going to do the teachings. He's going to do all the day work over there. So if you wanted to come in, say if you're a gentleman who doesn't, or a lady or a gentleman who doesn't have the facilities at their own home, like a shop, you can absolutely rent it from us and use those facilities on a daily basis. You just can't use it while we're doing it in the evening for the courses.
Okay.
And all of your stuff can be moved into the basement because there's a holding area.
So can you show us what other things you have happening here?
Absolutely. Come back with me. I'll show you the back of the shop.
Thank you.
After you.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Riley. Thanks, dude.
Oh, wow.
How are you folks today?
Hi, Riley. We're fine.
Riley.
How about you?
We're doing pretty good.
Good.
This is amazing.
Wow.
Nice, right?
The table, isn't it?
I
Yes.
love.
Nice big walnut slab, book match pieces.
What does that mean?
Unbelievable.
So each of these pieces were actually laying on top of each other in a log, and then it was milled flat. So a book match means that it's been folded over, and as you
Okay.
can see, this characteristic is also here.
Okay.
Is also here. Is also here.
Oh.
Like a
All
butterfly.
matches, right? So
Yeah.
it opens like a book or butterfly. That's
Yeah.
another terminology for it as well.
Okay. So I've noticed that there's epoxy in here for fillers.
Right. So we have some voids in here that we fill with epoxy. In this case, we use the gunmetal epoxy. It's not finished, so you don't really get the look of it. It still needs to be sanded, and this is also the bottom of the table. But at the same time, it's going to look fantastic when it's finished. If it was flipped over and didn't weigh 300 pounds, I would do it, and you guys would be able to see it. But
I was
think
going to
Riley,
ask.
Riley, I don't want him to have a hernia today. So.
No.
So when you stain this, you're going to
Yep.
probably put epoxy there as well,
Absolutely,
right? Sand
yep.
it all smooth. When you stain this, what color will this be?
So the
then?
epoxy won't take in a color.
It won't.
No, it's plastic, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
it won't absorb a color. It may slightly, but after we sand it, it's going to remove all that color.
I see.
We don't actually stain walnut. or I prefer not to stain walnut. The only time I would ever stain walnut is if I wanted to blend the color, like the sapwood and the heartwood together, so it didn't have such a drastic contrast.
Okay.
But usually we just apply an oil product, which brings out the grains, really makes it pop, and that's all we do.
This piece is beautiful.
Thank you.
How long would it take you to finish this piece?
It depends on how fast the details are narrowed down, but a piece like this would normally take 3 to 4 weeks to complete and deliver. Other than that, a table like that one over there can take 4 to 5 weeks, depending on how much epoxy is needed in it.
Do you do actual bars and stuff as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we did the bar top for K2 and for Gustav's in Collingwood.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So if anyone's walking downtown, they're free to come into your showroom
Absolutely.
and take a look.
Absolutely. So 10 to 6 we're open, 5 days a week. The only days we're closed is Sunday and Monday.
Awesome.
Nice. Nice. It's
I
beautiful.
love how they can come in and choose their wood, or, just take a look at how things are made, because it's really amazing.
Absolutely, yeah. We try to keep the door open as much as possible so people can come back and see and take a look for themselves how things are done. It's all handmade here.
When are you opening your other facility?
The other facility we're aiming to open as soon as the restrictions are done, just based on the fact that it's an instructional course, so it has the most restrictions. It's considered a school, right?
Oh, okay.
So we just have to make sure that all of our restrictions are off, and then we're going to open it up for everybody to come in. Maximum amount of people per week is 10 people that we want to have in the course, and we just don't want to have to make sure that only Riley is in the facility, because that's the amount of people that are allowed there. I'd like to be there as well, and we'd also like another person there, just to make sure that nobody gets hurt or damages the machine, but mainly because it's safer to have more eyes on people who are not as experienced with tools as we are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Good idea if we come.
I know. I know. If we came with a certain idea and said, okay, I'd like a bar stools made with the top on it, you could do that?
Absolutely, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Anything.
retrofit existing furniture all the time. The only
Nice.
thing that we don't do is we don't modify the furniture that we're keeping from the original piece. It has to stay as it is. So we don't cut and glue back together someone else's piece, but we will remove the legs from a piece and then add a new top, or
Oh, okay.
vice versa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if I want to start a project, or I want something custom made, how do I reach out to you?
Well, number one thing would be to check out our website. It's www.georgianbaywoodworking.com.
Okay.
You can also check out our Instagram for ideas of what stuff that we've done in the past, and that's at Georgian Bay Wood. Other than that, we do have a phone number at 705-791-9461. However, I don't always answer it because I'm always working on machines, right? So it is sometimes difficult to get me on the phone. Other than that, website, definitely your best way to do it. You'll have our email address and all our contact information there. You're welcome to come into the shop on the hours that we said.
Yes.
We're always here.
Downtown Owen Sound, right beside.
That's right, Channing's Chinese Food. Best Chinese food in Owen Sound.
So thank you so much for having us.
You're very
This
welcome.
is
Thank
beautiful.
you.
I could spend all day here. 'Cause
You're
I
welcome to
love
spend
it.
all day here if you like.
I could be an apprentice, Riley. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so
for
much.
coming.
Nice to meet both of you.
Yeah.
You as well.
Visiting with you folks as well.
Oh, you're so cute.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Calling all journalism students, Omni Television is once again awarding scholarships to qualified students pursuing a career in third language journalism.
When I found out that I won an Omni scholarship, I honestly wasn't expecting it. Winning an Omni scholarship helped me realize that I chose the right career path by pursuing third language journalism.
Omni is home to a variety of locally produced current affairs programs and daily national newscasts, broadcast in 6 languages. To learn more about Omni scholarships, visit omnitv.ca/scholarships.
Hi, it's Lois Taylor from It's Happening Here with Lois and Diane. We're happy to say we're back.
And I'm Diane.